Good afternoon, Year 2. We're on our last lesson of the week, our Friday punctuation and grammar lesson. So today we're going to be looking at something called exclamation sentences. So if you remember last week, we looked at question sentences and statement sentences and the difference between them. Now we're going to be having another look at statement sentences again today, but we're going to be looking at exclamations and how statements and exclamations are different from each other. And there's going to be two activities to do. One of them you're going to do in a break in this video. The other one you can do at the end of the video, and I'll tell you when. Okay? So, how do we write and identify statements and exclamations? We're going to understand the differences between statements and exclamations and use them in our writing. We're going to know there are different types of sentence, know what statements and exclamations are, tell the difference between a statement and an exclamation, know that exclamation sentences start with what or how, and we're going to know how to write your own statements and exclamations. So, types of sentence. There are four basic types of sentence in the English language. They are questions. So, for example, how much does it cost? Commands. Let me drive your car. So they're bossy words, aren't they? Statements. The car is green. They just give us information. And exclamations. What a shiny new car you have. And we're going to be looking at the bottom two today, statements and exclamations. So in this lesson, we'll concentrate on statements and exclamations. Statements, the car is green. Exclamations, what a shiny new car you have. So let's look at statements and remind ourselves. Statements are the most common type of sentence. They give information or state things. So statements just give us information. And that's why we use them a lot. They can be very simple. The car is green. Or more complicated. They begin with a capital letter and end with a full stop. They can end with an exclamation mark sometimes. All of the sentences on this page, including this one, are statements. So all of those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences are all statements. They tell us something, don't they? So statements have a full stop at the end. For example, Daniel's favourite food is pizza. It is 7 o'clock. I live next door to Elise. When I have chips, I like to soak them in vinegar and sprinkle them with salt. Can you see how that last sentence is a lot more complicated, but it's still a statement. It's still only giving us information. It's not asking us anything. It's not commanding anything. It's still a statement. Exclamations are a little bit more complicated. I would say they are the trickiest sentence type to get your head around. An exclamation states something just like a statement, but with strong feeling or emotion. It ends with an exclamation mark. It can be used to express anger, happiness, confusion, love, or excitement. An exclamation sentence must start with what or how and needs a verb and a noun. So that's important. It has to start with what or how. But can you think of another sentence type that could start with what or how? Could be a question, couldn't it? So the way we know that it's an exclamation sentence is it will have an exclamation mark rather than a question, and it won't ask and need an answer. Okay? So exclamations, we use exclamation marks like that one there. For example, how greedy of Bob to eat Sita's cake. You can see the how, you can see the exclamation mark. There's also a verb, which is eat, and there's also a noun, which is cake. How terrifying this ghost story is. It's got that how at the start, exclamation mark at the end. It's got the verb is, and it's got the noun ghost story. Noun phrase, I should say. What an enormous turnip you have. Now that one starts with what. Remember, exclamation sentences can start with what or how. What an enormous turnip you have. So it's got the verb have and the noun you. So it's that bit at the end that you have. The story is Sita's cake. It's a bit of a funny order. And what a fantastic film we just watched. Now, if that was a statement, we'd say, we just watched a fantastic film. But we have to muddle it about a bit. What a fantastic film we just watched. Okay, we've not got the answer cards. So what we're going to do instead is you're just going to tell me or write down on a piece. You could write down a full stop and an exclamation mark on a piece of paper. And you're either going to shout out statement or exclamation or hold up the full stop and the exclamation mark that you've made. And you're going to close your eyes so you can really concentrate on what I'm saying. You're going to hold up the card or shout the word that you think matches the sentence type. So if you think it's a statement, either hold up your full stop if you've made one, or shout out statement. If you think it's an exclamation, do the same. And then we're going to check our answer. Okay, so close your eyes. How horrible of Rhea to scare Harry. Exclamation or statement. Think about what it starts with. Think about the structure of it. How horrible of Rhea to scare Harry. Let's have a look. It's an exclamation. Well done. Next one. I like oranges. Statement or exclamation. Let's check it. Statement. It's just telling us some information, isn't it? Doesn't start with how or what. Doesn't have an exclamation mark. Dogs are a popular pet. Statement or exclamation. Let's check. That's right, it's a statement. Just telling us some information. What an exciting party that was. Statement or exclamation. What do you think? Let's check. It's an exclamation. We know that because it starts with what. It ends with an exclamation mark, and it's also got that funny bit at the end. That was. What a delicious cupcake this is. Statement or exclamation. Let's check. That's right. It's an exclamation because it's got what. It's got the exclamation mark at the end, and it's got that this is, the verb and the noun. Okay, so writing practice statements. We begin statements with a capital letter, make them as long or as short as you like, and end with a full stop. So can you write some statements about the picture below? So get a pencil and a piece of paper. You can write me a statement about this picture. For example, the dinosaur is grey. Pause the video, write as many sentences as you can about that picture. Okay, let's move on. So we're going to have some writing practice with exclamations now. We begin our exclamations with a capital letter, always. We make sure they start with what or how. They're not exclamation sentences if they don't start with what or how. They need to be about strong feelings and end them with an exclamation mark. So get your paper and your pencil again. Have a look at this picture of this boy on his bike doing amazing things. Can you write some exclamations which match the picture? So for example, how lucky that he's wearing a helmet. It could be, how fast the boy is going. What a lovely bike that is. Okay, so pause the video if you want to, write some exclamation sentences. Don't forget your exclamation mark at the end. And when you're ready, we'll move on. So our first activity, this is the first activity sheet that you've got from the planning document. Statement or exclamation. So what you're going to do, you're going to read through the statements on the sheet and decide if they are statements or exclamations. And you're going to put the appropriate punctuation marks where necessary. So if it's a statement, you'd put a full stop, and then you'd put in the box at the end an S. If you think it's an exclamation, you'd put an exclamation mark, and then you'd put an E in the end. So for example, the first one says, dragons are not real. Now that's a statement, isn't it? So you put full stop, and then you put S for statement. The second one, how awful it will be if the dragon catches us. That starts with how. It's got those a verb and a noun in it. It's an exclamation, so it needs an exclamation mark and an E. Don't forget, full stop for statement, exclamation mark for exclamation. It may help you to read the sentences aloud or to imagine them being read aloud. Okay, so you can do that now. Pause this video while you do it. It might take you a few minutes, and then we'll go on to our last little bit. Okay, so now we're finished. Let's move on. So then our review activity, we're going to do some quizzes to see which type of sentence it is. So using your statement or exclamation card you made, or by shouting out statement or exclamation, listen to the sentences which apply to each of the following pictures and hold up the card which would best match it. Okay. So how incredibly fast she is. Exclamation or statement. That's an exclamation, isn't it? What amazing animals cheetahs are. Exclamation or statement. That's right, it's another exclamation. The cheetah's tail helps her to balance. Oh, hang on, I've done the wrong one there. Let's do the other one, sorry. The cheetah is covered in spots. Full exclamation mark, exclamation or statement. It's a statement. How wonderful it would be to be a cheetah. Exclamation mark or statement. It's an exclamation. And the last one, the cheetah's tail helps her to balance, would be a statement. Let's skip through that part. This one. Say exclamation if you think it's an exclamation sentence, or a statement if you think it's a statement. They look like little cabbages. Statement or exclamation? Statement. Some people eat Brussels sprouts at Christmas. Statement or exclamation? Statement. How delicious these sprouts are. Statement or exclamation? Oh, wrong one. That would be an exclamation. And what a disgusting vegetable this is. Statement or exclamation? Both of those are exclamations. Okay. Your last activity is your activity 2. You're going to read the statement sentences on the sheet. And you're going to change the statement sentences to exclamation sentences using how or what. So, for example, if one of your sentences was, it was a sunny day, you'd change it to an exclamation would be, what a sunny day it was, or how sunny the day was. Okay? So do that now. And then our last little bit, for an extension, I've made you an exclamation sentence builder. So it tells you each part. So for your what ones at the top, you need to start with a what, then you need a noun phrase. So that's a noun, a naming word, with either at, the, some, one, words like that, and an adjective. So a strange day. A pronoun, now that's anything that replaces someone's name. So he, she, me, we, it, they, you, and a verb, a doing word. Okay? And then your exclamation mark. For the how ones, you do your how word, then choose an adjective, then a pronoun with a noun with it. So for example, the dragon, then a verb, and then exclamation mark. So how dangerous the dragon was. You could do how dangerous the scary dragon was if you wanted to. Okay, that's an extension. You don't have to do that. You can just do it if you want to. And how many can you create? And that's the end of our lesson. That's the end of our week. So finish that second worksheet year 2 and have a lovely weekend. Bye-bye.